As you can tell, I'm having a good night.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to 863 Sports Buzz. I'm Marshentime.
What?
That's Donnie Mac. We bringing you all the sports coming at you live. Hey, you know what? We see our scoreboard back here. I get a point from last week because Donnie Mac made a challenge to me. I called the Eagles not being able to beat the Giants by 10. And guess what? They didn't. I'm taking my point right now, sucker.
Hey, points Martian time. And you know what? The Eagles jumped out on pretty quick, 17-3,
They
real
did.
quick.
They
And,
did.
the Giants really good job on tracking it down. And rightfully, the Giants wouldn't be wrong to have an argument to say very bad call at the end that
There were a
prevented the
few calls
Giants
that
from
were a little
actually
sketchy, but you know what?
climbing back
I'll
into
go
the
with it.
game. So good call by you, Marshentime. You knew the Giants had the momentum coming against a depleted
I'm telling you,
Philadelphia
man.
Eagles team. Jalen Hurts with his struggles, offensive line, everybody being sick, hurt, nothing coming together. It's all at disarray at the wrong time. You could very easily been an upset. So you rightfully get the point on that.
I know I deserve the point. So you couldn't get your point because I called it, man. I knew it was happening. I knew it. I'm
So
telling you, man. I just see it coming.
can we talk about the one big bubble that's sticking out in everybody's mind? I called this team on talent, but I called the talent on the wrong side of the ball. I do not get a point for this. I do not get any kind of recognition, but we need to talk about this sore thumb sticking out. The Las Vegas Raiders.
The Raiders. You want to talk
Raiders.
about the Raiders?
The Raiders
Do you know why I have seven up
beating
here? Do
the
you know why I have
Super
seven up
Bowl
here?
champions. Why you got seven up there?
Do you know they scored two touchdowns in 7 seconds? 7 seconds.
7 seconds.
They scored
Just
two
like that.
touchdowns in 7 seconds. Two
That
consecutive
quick of a
plays.
fumble
That's
return,
crazy,
that
man.
quick of a pick, just bang, bang, boom, over with 7 seconds. That's why they went. You know what? And it was a defensive battle. And Patrick Mahomes and the wide receivers, we continuously see this battle. They started double Travis Kelsey halfway through this game. They went halfway through. They knew the game plan. Do you stop Kelsey? You have a shot because nobody else on this team could do anything. And that's exactly what started happening right there. That
100%,
defense of
man.
that Raiders and their head coach right now, they need to be accommodated for the work effort this weekend. And it was not the offense.
No,
Single handedly
100%.
the defense of that game.
No, I mean, literally, I mean, they scored seconds and it wasn't the offense. Do you know
Yeah,
the
single
offense
handedly.
didn't complete a pass after the first quarter? Their offense was horrible.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I could see that. I say,
Didn't complete a
we
pass.
watched the troubles, just weigh on throughout that game right there. And I stopped watching because I saw the direction it was heading. This is not the Super Bowl Kansas City Chiefs that we thought that they were starting this season. They got some real problems right now. They've got some real big problems. Coach Marshentime, if these were your problems and you were Andy Reid, these were in your lap, big guy. If these were in
Mm,
your lap,
mm.
what would you do to try to change what you got going on? And you cannot use trades with wide receivers. You cannot. Would you start focusing on your offensive playbook? Would you start focusing on defensive emphasis and use that big, superb defense you got, headed by Chris Jones up front? What would you do?
Listen, I mean, their defense is still doing the job. Let's be honest, man. I mean, they didn't. They only let the Raiders score one touchdown. Their defense.
That's
Their
true.
defense
That's
did not
very
give up
true.
any points. I mean,
Good
so you
point.
can't really blame their defense. What
Yep.
Kansas City needs to do, take the load off of Patrick Mahomes.
He's doing
Run
too
the
much.
ball. I'm sorry, man. You guys are doing what Buffalo did to Josh Allen, and you're running you're
There
passing the
you
ball too
go.
much. Every
Bang.
team can come in and see that. And Josh Allen has better receivers around him. At least he has that. Patrick Mahomes has Travis Kelsey, and that's it. You
Yeah,
can't keep relying on Patrick
that's it.
Mahomes to make a great play when he doesn't have anybody to go to. It's scary on
Sometimes
what
they
they're doing.
triple
He's going to end up
Kelsey.
hurt, man.
Yeah, sometimes they triple down on Kelsey. They put two linebackers spot on him with the safety over the top. That's how big Travis Kelce offense. And now you know what? With that, the only thing you got to threaten me on, I'm defense corner. Beat me with everybody else because you haven't been able to do it all season. But by back, we put some pressure on you. We start taking the ball straight out of your hands. The hell with hitting you and knocking it out of your hands. We're going to take it straight out of your hands. We're going to run it in. We're going to pick Mahomes off. What else you got left to do? They didn't have nothing. They had
They
nothing.
don't. I mean, that they have no answer because they're
There's
relying
a
so
big
much on
problem.
Mahomes. And you know what? If I was them, I'd start rolling Mahomes out more. Let him have that
Yeah.
option to go and run and get 5 or 6 yards. Make him
No,
a
that's
part
the
of your
key.
running game.
That's the
They need
key.
to, and they're not doing it. And I don't know why, because Andy Reid is an offensive mastermind. He has been for
Yeah,
years.
and I
He's
don't know
well
why
known.
neither. Exactly. He had Donovan McNabb, and that was the key.
Mm-hmm.
What you just said, single word, option. Run the option with Mahomes. He's smart enough to keep himself out of danger. He can throw out of that
100%.
option, or he could pitch it to Pacheco, even put Kelsey back there in the backfield and run the option with Kelsey. You're a
Yeah.
mastermind at offense. That's what I would do. I'm just saying. That's a big deal. Kansas City, Andy Reid, I'm disappointed in him right now, but he's probably like us. He's probably standing back looking at this and shitting himself.
I mean,
That's what he's doing.
he's had such big receivers in the years. I mean, losing Tyreek Hill. Let's be honest, Tyreek Hill. They gave him up,
Yeah.
and look what he's
Yeah,
doing.
they
The
did.
guy is
Yep.
insane, and that was huge for Patrick Mahomes. When all you gotta do is throw the ball 50 yards down the field, and somehow it doesn't matter where he is, he's gonna run underneath it.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is with Kansas City, but a scale 1 to 10, or give me a percentage idea what you think their chances this year in the AFC playoff. It's coming real quick here, Marshentime, and it's coming real fast.
Oh
What do you
yeah.
think their chances are with the way they're playing right now, dude?
Listen, there is one thing
Th-
on that where you can
This is
never count
serious.
Mahomes out of any games.
That's
But do
true.
I see them winning the AFC? No, I don't. I see him. I'll give him a 5 out of 10. Let's be honest. You can't count him out because it's Patrick Mahomes. The guy is the greatest player in the league right now. There's no doubt in my mind on that one. But it's not a one person game. He can
No,
change the
it's not.
dynamic of the game, but he
He's proved
cannot.
that.
He can help his whole team. He can't run, catch, and throw the ball at the same time. He can't do it. So
There you got it. So, there's a handful of teams in the AFC that 5 rating to, right? Realistically,
100%.
like maybe 5 or 6. There's a handful we would do right now. My favorite in that, I think they played them right now today. The Cleveland Browns would beat the Kansas City Chiefs. That's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, they're pretty good. I mean, to be
Well,
fair, they're the third team right now. Third best record in the AFC.
And
So
nobody thought it was going to happen. Cincinnati's still fighting for a wild card, but after this last showing to an under depleted team and the Steelers, I think Cincinnati's going to fall back in their rankings where they deserve to be in the middle of the pack, and we're going to see these teams ways through the
yeah,
AFC
because
and start
let's be honest.
and start
What happened
barking.
to your
Yeah.
Cincinnati Bengals? What happened to them, bud?
Well, I mean, first of all, as we talked about this weekend, I didn't think my Cincinnati Bengals was going to make it for the first 2 games that they lost Joe Burrow. And you're
That's true.
saying what happened to my dude, what happened to my team after we lost my dude, you know what I mean? So that's kind of her. So
I mean,
I
I'm
hope
just
Tyreek
wondering.
Hill comes
You
up
guys, but okay, wait a
really
minute, wait a minute.
serious
Let's
freaking
stop for a
problem.
second. Let's stop
Never
for a
come
second. Let's
rest of the season because my mojo
No,
is
you don't, because
shifted
he's your
now.
MVP. So
The
don't
hell
even
with the
start.
Miami.
Don't even start. He's your MVP. He's your MVP. So don't even start. Listen, this is what I mean though. It's not even your offense that was bad. It was your defense this week. Mason
Well,
Rudolph, man, lit you guys up, and I don't know
well,
why, but Mason Rudolph had a game, man. He was
obviously,
he was
he,
perfect through the second
well,
quarter.
it's a it's about time, you know. It's about time that somebody else got some kind of playing time. Bengals were playing, or some kind of spotlight because Jake Browning took the spotlight for the last couple of weeks. The defense wouldn't
That's
take the
true.
spot. It was the nobody expected the defense to put up. Everybody to come in and be the king of the offense and run the score up with Jamar Chase and offense. You know, everybody nobody was talking about they lost half of the secondary,
True.
last
True.
year, but when Jake Browning come in, nobody was talking about the defense stopping anybody. Nobody was talking about the offense. Oh my God, look at this offense. The ball, they're scoring football. They're putting the football in the end zone. Nobody expected this. This is the big deal. Everybody was nobody's talking about the defense. So who care? My answer to you is who cares about the defense? You know, who
And then let's
cares?
be honest.
Jake Browning's
This was
about
without Jamar
Jake
Chase.
Browning's Listen, Jake Browning's about to get paid by the Tennessee Titans to come in and take over. That's what's going to happen.
Okay, okay. I don't know if I see that, but I'll go with it. I'll go with it, but whatever you say, man. They could somebody's gonna go sign Joe Flacco for like $1 million deal, man. The guy's
Hey,
coming
maybe
in.
even Joe Flacco might try to pull a Tom Brady. You never know. He might stick around for a year or two. You know,
Yeah,
Watson.
this guy is
You
like
know
a
what I mean?
miracle thing, man. I mean, he's coming off of retirement and just showing everybody up, like, hey
I
guys, what's
love it.
up?
I love it. When we looked at Joe Flacco when he come out of Delaware State, the Mud Hens. Who the hell is a Mud Hen? First of all,
What
nobody
is a
ever heard
mud
of
hen?
a
Is what
Mud
I
Hen.
want to know. What is a
And
mud
this
hen?
guy comes out of Delaware. Where the hell is Delaware? Is that somewhere in Antarctica? But first,
Yeah,
he
something
comes out
like
of
that. It probably
Delaware.
should
He
be.
comes in he gets drafted. You know what I mean? He's on the bench and he gets called up for. I think Mark Brunell was the quarterback. He gets hurt. He gets called up, and all of a sudden, Ray Lewis makes this guy look like a hero. Joe Flacco,
Yeah.
all he's got to do 15 times a game, and Ray Lewis makes sure nobody else does anything.
That's that defense was a complete different beast. So I will give
Atrocious,
you that.
absolutely atrocious. No, Joe Flacco, man, I'm a fan of his. I'm on his bandwagon. They make it to the playoffs as a high seed with that defense and Joe Flacco managing the game and not giving away with his 3 interceptions like he did a couple weeks ago. I'm on their bandwagon. I'm not jealous. I'd like to see them do something.
You just don't want the Steelers to do anything. I got you. I understand.
Not at all. Not at all. I hope their bus burns down on the way there and all their players make it out safely.
Okay, at least you brought that part in. At least
Yeah.
all their players will make it out safely. But your bus is burning
Yes.
down. I just want you guys.
That's going to impact
Uh,
us from a psychedelic.
oh man.
Mac Bird said this. Donnie Mac said this on the podcast. He said this. We shouldn't come out of this tunnel because if you come out of that tunnel, guys, you don't want to know what's going to happen.
I mean, hey man, they still got a chance to make the playoffs, so let's not count them out just yet.
They do. Not down to them. Not down to them at all. What else you want to talk about in the NFL Marshentime? Let's move on from
Listen,
my
man,
tirades.
we got to talk about the two big games that happened this week. Of
I
course, my
like your
Miami
hat, by the way.
Dolphins. Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
We got to
You
talk
deserve it.
about the Miami Dolphins beating the Dallas Cowboys, shutting
Yeah.
everybody up on not beating a 500 team. They beat a 500 team. Shut up! I don't want to
Yes.
hear it anymore.
Yes.
We did it at
There
home.
you go.
We won our game. What else can you say about it, man? I mean, I'm happy. It did have a little bit of a bad feeling at the end though, because Jalen Waddle had just a high ankle sprain now. That may make
Yeah.
him miss a couple weeks, which is kind of scary for this. Next 2 weeks are important for us.
They are. They're very important for you. You know what, Marshentime? I'm not going to on the Miami
That's because
Dolphins.
I don't want you
And
to.
the MVPs or anything like that because I'm putting a bad omen on them. But what I will do is I'll take the good from the bad on this one right here in this last matchup, and I'll say that as far as the Dallas Cowboys, I'm sorry, some of my prop come loose back here. The Dallas Cowboys impressed me.
Okay.
Only on the fact that they was able to keep their composure even after. Now don't get me wrong, I think the Miami Dolphins should have scored at least two more touchdowns in this game, at
100%.
least two more touchdowns in this game, but Dallas missed one opportunity to score a touchdown. CD Lamb on only one. Nobody saw it. It was off camera because Dak Prescott isn't really that good. Two, Dallas grounded out. They grounded out. They stayed in the moment. They stayed in the game
They
until they
did.
lost. They didn't lose their composure. They didn't come unglued. We're used to seeing those Dallas teams and organizations come unglued on the end of these games that, they feel entitled to.
100%. I
They
mean,
come
that's,
unglued. They get these
I love.
unnecessary roughness penalties, and I've seen those in the last couple
Mm,
years, and I'm glad for Dallas to do that. Number three, and as you said, Miami Dolphins, and that's a huge point for you. Miami Dolphins beat a team that's over 500. This team that's over 500 in the NFC is actually a good freaking team.
yeah,
Martian
I
time.
mean, they've
They
beaten some
are
pretty good
they
teams.
are actually a good freaking team, and they're number three in the NFC,
Well,
surprisingly
no,
enough.
they dropped down to number 5 now because Philadelphia is taking that
Well,
spot.
now,
So
now they're number five after the weekend, but going into the weekend, Miami Dolphins
they were
facing
number
number
3.
three
Yeah,
rank, and it's just where the Miami Dolphins were thinking they wanted to be. They're there.
that's true. I'll give you a point for that, man. But now we're moving on to the other big game, who we all thought was going to
Okay,
be this monster game. And I'm going to be honest, it was kind of a disappointment. Purdy
it
did not
was.
look
It
pretty.
was.
Let's be honest. Purdy looked pretty awful. He didn't look pretty at all.
Can I say one thing real quick? Can we stop this MVP voting for
For
Brock
Purdy,
Purdy?
I
Can we stop?
agree.
Can we stop it now?
100%. I'm giving you a
Please,
point for that.
please listen.
Please
Martian time.
stop.
Listen. You're not an MVP, and you come in a game of this caliber that could, this late in the season. Number one, this late in the season, and think that you're the MVP. Well, he didn't think he's the MVP. Everybody else thought he was the MVP.
I
He
never,
said
yeah, no.
CMC was his MVP. That's
Exactly.
what he
That's
said.
who it should
Big
be.
point
That's
for
the only
him.
point. 100%.
Maybe now is the time. Is the point. Now is the time to start looking at alternative measures as far as the MVP. Can the NFL change it? NFL and the NBA are the worst as far as the MVP goes.
I agree. I agree.
MVP, the MLB gives it to a pitcher. They don't care. They'll give the Cy Young to a pitcher. They give the MVP to the pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
They're not biased as far as who the MVP is. They don't care.
True.
They're
True.
going to choose the best player overall. Please, NFL, do that. Please do that because right now on my list is not Tyreek Hill. He's missed a couple games. I'm sorry. My dog has fell off. He's a close number two, possibly a number three, but CMC is number one on
Who
that
who
MVP
picked that?
list, dude.
Who picked that? Who picked that?
CMC.
Who picked that?
That is Martian time.
Thank
Martian
you.
time. You get
Thank you.
you know what?
Thank you.
I would give you a point for that, but I'm not. You get props for that. Get props for that. But you do get a point for that hat you got on your head, brother.
Yes, sir. Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's a good one. It's a special one. I'm.
That
You
is.
know, we may. That this team is going to be really hurt Saturday because all of our players are opting out, which I don't blame them.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean
Yeah.
anything. They got screwed over, but we're not going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about that. We're not. We're not going to go with. We're going to go into it.
We
But
can if you want
listen,
to.
Baltimore's defense though.
I don't mind.
Defense took a real step up here.
They did.
They made
did.
Brock Purdy feel uncomfortable. They dropped back. They disguised their coverage very well, which I think had Brock Purdy all in a mess in his head. He had no idea what to do.
That was that defense.
I'm telling you, man. Now,
I'm telling you.
on the contrary, I called George Kittle to have a huge game, and I was correct on that. And you kept saying, well, he hasn't had a great game all year. Guess what, sir? He had a monster game. 7 catches, 132 yards, I think. Crazy, man. Just wanted to
You
point that
did.
out. I just wanted to point that out. I called that too. You know.
But the only reason why I'm not going to, emphasize your point on that is because you also said Kittle was going to catch the game-winning touchdown.
I
You
did.
know,
Well, that's not
it
my
wasn't
fault that
even
Brock Purdy absolutely sucked all the game.
it,
It's not
it
my
wasn't even
fault.
it wasn't even close on that aspect. And because it was so far away, if it was a close game or anything like, yes, I give it to you. But you know what, Marshentime, Kittle finally did what he's supposed to do. He's been doing for the last 2 seasons.
Man, you just hating on Kittle. But you know what? I love George Kittle. He's a great tight end.
I
And he's
do.
having a
I
silently
do.
good season. Most people don't realize that. I'm going to be honest. He's actually a decent season all around. But listen, we got to talk about, now that we talked about Baltimore and Miami, they're on a collision course, sir,
Yes, they
for
are.
Sunday afternoon, 1 o'clock in Baltimore. You got the top two teams in the AFC going head to head.
I'm
Ooh,
restricted from talking about this
you are
game,
not allowed to talk
Marshentime.
about anything.
I,
You know what?
I
All I
am
want you to talk
restricted.
about,
Listen,
all I want you to
listen.
talk about
I'm
is the
going to
Baltimore
guide
Ravens.
your
That's the
question.
only one I want you to talk about.
I'm going to guide you through this. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to guide you through this. So, Baltimore coming in off the biggest win that could possibly be
Very
seen
true.
throughout this season. The biggest win. They got to be feeling like King Dingaling, right? They got to be rolling in like Knights King. And now they potentially look at another team that
It's pretty
fully
good.
healthy that could be an issue here in a couple of weeks.
That's very true. I
So
mean,
how do you number one, if you're Mike McDaniel, number two, if you're
mm,
Hardball, how do you approach this game? Because first of all, your chances of making the playoffs for the Baltimore Ravens,
they're already in.
72%.
They're already in the playoffs.
Or the Miami Dolphins.
The Dolphins already clinched the playoffs too. 70,
So
it's a
what
71% chance of winning the division.
okay. My bad. If you're already in the playoffs, I mean, obviously winning the division is an important feature. But if you're on both sides of the ball, McDaniel, Harbaugh, what are you thinking on this? What do you
Listen,
what take your mind out of heart. Take your mind out as a coaching prospect. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What do you think on both sides of the ball? I want an analyst from Harbaugh's point,
all
from
right, all
McDaniel's
right.
point. What do you think your approach should do at this point in the season? Because it's very integral. It's
It
very,
is.
very,
It is.
very integral to what happens.
Listen,
You know.
Miami has one key factor what they need to do. Well, actually, two key factors. One on offense, one on defense. The one on offense is run the ball. Show the dominance in that run game. Baltimore's pass defense is one of the best. Their rush defense is still pretty good, but it's not the best. CMC just put up over 100 yards on them.
Yeah.
It's not. It's you can do it. Rely on the run game. Keep Tua out of pressure, and if you're using
There
Tua,
you go.
have him roll out. Let him roll out. Keep him protected. Don't let him do stupid plays. You know what I mean? Don't let him cost you the game. Tua in big games always scares me because he either shows up or he doesn't. Lately, it's been he hasn't. He showed up this week, kind of. He had his moments where it was very scary. I'll be honest. I still like Tua, but he's got to step up.
As far as the way the two is playing, it's kind of good. It's kind of good going into playoffs, and you're going to think I'm crazy. The way he's hesitating, and that's what you're talking about is the hesitation he has.
It does.
I
You can
know,
clearly see it in him.
I know exactly what you're talking about. But let me put this in emphasis for you, Martian time, and I hope you give me a point on this. Think about you doing anything. Uh, are you right-handed or left-handed?
I'm right.
Anything without your left thumb. That's it. That's kind of what that's like.
Not your left thumb.
Yeah, that's kind of what that's like
I like it. I like it. I like it. That's
without
good comment.
Tyreek Hill. Without Tyreek Hill,
But
that
Tyreek Hill
that
played, man.
I know, but you got to know that he's not. He's been. It's not the Tyreek Hill that we know we want to see. He's there. He's playing
That's true.
just because he's a body threat. That's it. He's a decoy. He's a body threat. That's all he was in that game. And I don't care what anybody says. That's why Jalen Waddle got
I
so
mean,
much
he did
work.
get 99 yards, man.
He did. He did. He did. That's not the 215 yards, the 150 yards, the 185
Posted, man.
yards, and the 2 and 3. I mean, this is not, he wasn't running the way we're used to seeing Tyreek Hill. He wasn't doing everything we're used to seeing Tyreek Hill do. That's my analyst on that. That's the way I feel about that. His hesitation was because Tyreek Hill wasn't 100%. That's why.
I mean, I'll give you your point, but I mean, you could see Tyreek Hill was hesitating a little bit. You could see how his step was a little bit off, but
So
it was
the
still even
timing,
plays that weren't
timing,
designed for Tyreek Hill. That is
timing.
true, and that's what Tua. That's all Tua is a timing quarterback.
That's
I'm
his
gonna be
head.
honest. You know, he's
That's
not.
not all he
Tua
is.
is
No,
not a.
no, that's not all
Whoa,
he
okay.
is. He can
Tua is
adjust.
not the guy. I'll agree to disagree. I'm a Miami Dolphin fan, so I watched this all. I've watched him forever. He likes his first two reads. If his first two reads aren't there, he hesitates
Yeah,
way
I
too
can
much and he
agree to
starts
that.
thinking way too
Yeah.
much. He's a first
Okay.
two read kind of guy. Don't he's not gonna make a miraculous crazy third or fourth, fifth read kind of thing. Of course, he doesn't have time half the time either. Let's be honest, because his offensive line has been hurt all year long. But all right, well, we're gonna move on though. I'm gonna give you the defense perspective because
But
I want to get the Baltimore's too. So
I'm gonna emphasize on that when you say that about Tua up front, and this is why I believed him in an MVP, and this is solely just to back up what I say about Tua in that offense, he has to know to change that offense at the line pre-snap. He has to recognize that defense.
that's true.
That's what separates. That's why I thought he was the MVP. That's what separates good quarterbacks from bad quarterbacks. He knows how to check down or move to another offense or another play that he knows he can emphasize and make that completion by the defense he's looking at. If he was a
Yeah, I
true
mean he's good
timing
about that. You're right.
quarterback, we would have saw that multiple times. Yeah, he's very good at that. He is.
He is good. No, I know what you're saying on that, but that is not what I mean by timing quarterback. I mean when his throws aren't timed. He is great at the line of scrimmage. I'll give him that. He can read the
Yeah.
defense very well, but his timing is what he's good at. His throws is what I mean. I'm
Yeah,
not
if
talking
it's
he's just a
checked or
timing kind of
bumped
quarterback.
or yeah, just improvising is exactly what you're talking
Exactly.
about.
Yeah,
If he's flushed out of
improvising
the
he's not the
pocket on the
greatest on.
run, yeah,
He's just not the
yeah,
greatest on.
I on that one as a Miami quarterback. You know what I mean. You got a lot of pressure on you when you're following up on Dan
Mhm.
Marino, or you know what I
Well,
mean.
it's been a
The
long time
next.
since a Dan Marino. I'm going to be honest, man.
As a Miami
I can
fan, you're
barely,
going to be
I
held
can
to
barely remember any Dan Marino times.
it. All right, you wanted to move on. Let's do it, brother. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go to the Dolphins defense. Let's go to the Dolphins defense. All
Okay,
right.
Dolphins defense.
One key thing for Dolphins defense is contain Lamar Jackson.
Jackson. Yep.
Contain him.
We saw
Lamar
that.
Jackson is that two-play quarterback.
We
First
saw
of
that
all, you have
this
to
past
stop the
week.
first play. Yeah, you have to stop the first play, but then you have to
You
stop the
have
second
to.
play with his legs. You know,
And
you
then
have to
number
keep
three
him in
with
the
the
pocket.
juke.
100%.
Gives you
Keep
that
him
pump
in the
fake.
pocket, though.
or that juke, that one step juke, that stutter step,
100%.
or that pump fake, man, he could go actually over to Zay Flowers because we saw
Yeah,
that happen, or
100%
he could
times.
take off, and we saw that happen.
Listen, there's another thing I want to talk about the Dolphins defense. Have Jalen Ramsey shadow the number one receiver. I'm sick of it. CeeDee Lamb
Well,
got a touchdown because they're not letting Jalen Ramsey cover him. That was the only reason they're
you,
putting their third string cornerback on. Listen, I don't mind him doing it every play. You have Xavier Howard on the other side. Let Xavier Howard cover him half the time. Let Jalen Ramsey cover him half the time. I'm sorry,
well,
man. You have to have these guys on the best receivers all the time.
I agree with you on that. I don't agree with a man-to-man coverage with Ramsey. He's too far in his career. He's still a good back. He's coming off a knee injury. You know what I
Did you?
mean? Everything's
Whoa,
good.
whoa,
No,
whoa.
no, no.
Did
Hold
you
on,
not
hold
see
on.
how he's covered, sir?
I know, I know, I know. You're late in the season. Listen, listen.
Oh,
All I'm saying is I would not go man to man right
mm,
now. I
mm,
in a zone coverage with safety help. That's all I'm saying. That's all
mm.
I'm saying.
But
Is
that's
I would
okay. You can have a safety help. What I'm saying is have him shadow the guy. I'm not saying man to man, but shadow
yeah.
him.
Well, you,
Shadow
you
him.
did say that. You did say that. You did
Rely
say
on
that.
some. I
Yes.
didn't say man on man. I didn't say that. Now wait a
No,
minute here.
no, no, you're
I'm
right.
just
You
saying
did say
shadow.
that.
You can have safety help.
Shadow.
That's no big deal. I don't mind having safety help on the number one receivers and stuff.
You,
But
you
keep
know
your
what?
best guy on him too.
And I argue that Jalen Ramsey actually should be a free safety, or he should be a strong safety, because the way he plays is more
Dude,
like an
he's
Ed
so
Reed
good.
or a Palomu type style. When he's good and he's free floating that zone back there in that deep zone, he reads so much, and that's where he's so good at. He's so good at that 15-yard to that 25-yard mark and that
Oh,
free floating
100%.
zone where he can read everything because he's so fast. He could turn around and take off, and he could bolt
Mm-hmm.
and keep with the fastest wide receiver in the NFL. But
Listen,
he's no longer that guy. After a knee
ever
injury, he's no longer that guy.
ever since he's come back, do you know how many times somebody's thrown at him? Do you know how many times he's been thrown at since he's come back? In week 10,
And do you know why? Yeah,
do you know how many times? 15 times. He's only
15
he's
times.
only been thrown at
Only,
15
only,
times.
only on this reason alone, and it's because of his name and his credentials.
Mm,
That's it.
I'm
That's it.
sorry, man. I'm
Now,
sorry.
now,
This dude has
now,
3 interceptions and
he's
15
only been
passes against him.
Well, he has, and I'm not saying on that sole reason alone, but he's only been back for 6 weeks. He's only been
Yeah,
back
and
for
he's looking
half
pretty
a dozen
good.
weeks, and that 6 week he practiced the whole week, so it's really
Mm-hmm.
only logged NFL 5 weeks. So yeah, it's a little bit skewed. It's not a full season of work, but it's a little bit skewed. That's my opinion on that.
Sir, 6
As
weeks,
far
15
as
passes.
far
That's
As
crazy.
far as a zone, that's outstanding. That's not crazy. That's outstanding. That's like
This
sub.
guy's trying to
That's
prove he's still
that's
the
not
number one
subpar.
cornerback, man.
That's
Give him his
NFL
credit.
level.
Give him his
I
credit.
would sit him in a zone in this game alone, because Lamar Jackson shooting deep is where he's going to go. If not, he's going to be running the football. He's not going to be dumping it underneath. He's got a lot of running backs to do that. He can do that. He's looking deep. If he shadows, like you said, and I'm going to use your point for that, and that's a huge point on your behalf. In that zone, this could be a long, long day.
That's just what I'm going with, man. I'm telling you. I respect the guy so much. I think
Yeah.
he's the number one cornerback. He deserves it. He needs it. I'm just saying.
Well, he's not a
He's
Super Bowl champion for nothing. And
yeah.
once you put a defensive line up front and you let them play a little bit of defense back there, he has
Mm.
a little bit of fun.
Oh,
We
100%.
watched that. We watched that against the Cincinnati Bengals. My Cincinnati Bengals. We watched that.
He did. He did. All right, we're moving on. I'm going to move on to Baltimore side. I'm going to keep it honest. I'm going to keep it true. On Baltimore's, we're going to go with defense. All right. Baltimore's defense, number one goal in this game, keep things in front of you. Keep things in front. You will win. You will probably win this game. I'm going to be honest. Miami relies on big plays. If you keep this
Well,
team in front of you
let
without
me ask
Jalen
you
Waddle,
this.
it's going to be important.
Let me ask you this. Those mistakes that Brock Purdy made, do you
Mhm.
see Tua making those mistakes?
That's a tough one. I don't see him making a couple of them.
But you
Um,
do see him making those mistakes.
I can see him making one of the mistakes that Brock Purdy made.
That's
Um,
enough to change the game.
the thing is, a couple of Brock Purdy's mistakes were tipped balls. We all know how short Tua is. Tua's
Hmm.
not a big dude,
He's
and
not.
that could be an issue.
I think he goes 6'3.5". I
Yeah, I
think
mean
that's
he's not a big
exactly
guy, man.
6'3.5". He might go 6'4". Big guy. You're
No,
right.
so he needs to watch out for that. And to be fair, Baltimore got very lucky on where the tipped balls went up, and they just kept going to their players. So I will
That's
give them that
true.
credit,
That's
But
true.
Tua could make some of the mistakes too. I I don't see him making all the same mistakes because the zone read that Purdy missed, he made a really horrible throw. And usually,
Yeah.
if Tua's gonna miss a throw, he's gonna overthrow it. He doesn't underthrow it most of the time. It seems like he seems to overthrow unless he underthrows Tyreek Hill, which I don't know if you can overthrow Tyreek Hill. I'm going to be honest.
No.
I don't know if
You
you
can
can
underthrow him very
very
easily, though.
easily. The guy's insanely fast, so he's a cheetah for a reason.
He is a cheetah.
So. But now we talked about their defense. If you keep things in front of you, I think they'll end up winning this game. Miami relies on the big play to help them out. That's just my opinion.
And it's you can go a lot of ways with that. And you compare San Francisco, the best NFC team, and I believe they're the
100%.
best NFC team against
I still think they're the
Baltimore.
best NFC
Look
team,
at you look at Miami. Miami can offer everything that San Francisco offered.
except for
The
CMC.
only thing, the only different, well, they got a two-headed attack to
Yeah,
supplement
yeah.
for CMC,
Well,
so
let's be
you
honest.
can't re-
Let's be honest. Even
the
our two-headed
the
attack is not as good as CMC.
the the only thing, because Tua can move outside of that pocket. No,
He can.
if you bet me a bottom dollar, I'd say Tua can move. He can run at least a 5'10" and a 40. Okay, even as fat as he is. I say this. I think that without that dynamic of that long stretch, Tyreek Hill stretching the field and backing everybody up,
Mm-hmm.
that's what the Baltimore Ravens really, or the San Francisco 49ers really lacked against the Baltimore Ravens
Yeah,
after
they
they
didn't have
got
that
in
guy to go
trouble.
deep.
They didn't have that guy
That's
because
true.
Debo Samuel is not that fast. Brandon
Yeah.
Ayuk is not that fast.
Yeah.
Even though Kittle had a big game and he used the seams and they did what they could with that, he's not that fast. Okay,
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill, he
He's
can
that
burn
fast.
anybody.
Yeah,
He
there's
is
somebody
that
faster.
fast. He's that dude at 100% when he's healthy. He can change the dynamic of a game, and that's why I
In
called
one
him an
play.
MVP. That's why I called him an MVP 3 weeks ago, Marshentime, is because he is that guy. He can change the dynamic of a game. Now, if he stretches the field against Baltimore and Tua is that quarterback, that's why I called him the MVP starting this season. He is the quarterback that could throw that ball as far as Tyreek Hill wants to run.
He can
That's
sometimes
that's why I said those things.
when he's not
That could
hesitant. He
be a
can.
problem for Baltimore when Tyreek
But
Hill is
that's why I'm
healthy.
saying, man, you got to keep everything in front of you.
That could be, you got to keep everything in front of you. That's a huge point by you. You know what I mean? But Tyreek Hill and Tua can really, really, really stretch that field and get Baltimore in trouble.
No, I agree. All right, now I'm going to go to their offense. Let's be honest. Their offense has one key player. Get
Hey, back
Lamar
one.
Jackson rolling.
No. back there. Back that up. Get Odell rolling, man. Get that
Nah,
slot
don't even.
rolling.
Don't even. Get Lamar Jackson rolling. Roll him out.
Yes,
Let
sir.
him
You
pass the
got to.
ball. Get him easy
100%.
passes to go
You
in the
have to.
beginning. Get that confidence going, and
You
man,
have
he
to.
he
You
can
have
light
to.
any defense up. And I'm worried about it. For the Dolphins defense, you got to put pressure on him. Got to contain him. So we'll see that. We'll see
I
that
don't
battle.
I don't think, except for in the Jacksonville game, that we've seen Lamar really on fire and pick and poke. He had 19 completions in the first half, 19 for 19. And I was like, oh my God, that was crazy. You know what I mean? That's the kind of
Yeah,
Lamar Jackson we're going to need to
it's
see
scary. Yeah,
against Miami Dolphins. You know what I mean? This is going to be another showdown. And, NFL didn't mean this to happen, but thank you, NFL.
yeah, exactly. Thank you. We'll
Yeah, thank you.
enjoy
We'll t-
it.
we'll take every prop bet you want to send in our direction. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, we'll enjoy it. Thank you. This is going to be an offensive shootout. I think it's going to be a fun game.
It is.
I'm
It is
excited for it. I'm
absolutely,
excited for it.
absolutely. I think so. As far as picking a winner in this one, I can't. It can go either way. There's no biased feelings because I love Lamar. I love Zay
That's true.
Flowers. I love what they got going on over there in Miami. As far as you
Speaking
said with Jalen
speaking of
Ramsey.
Lamar, though, really fast, we're in the championship game
No.
in our ESPN Fantasy Football League. We have Tua. We have Lamar. Who do we go with, man?
Oh,
They're
Tua,
playing each other.
Lamar. Oh my God, who do we go with? Marshentime,
We're in
dude.
the
I know
championship,
St.
man.
Brown. I know Ahmad St. Brown had a huge day
He
for us
did. He
last
did.
week. I know CMC had a huge day for us last week. We went with Lamar. He had a decent day
He
with
did.
us last week, dude. You know what? Do we take? Do you have any comments on our
Ooh,
our live YouTube feed right now?
I have one. I do have one. So it's.
What
Listen, man. He was going with the Dolphins. So
he's
he's all.
going
It's
with
all
the
he's picking. He's
Dolphins?
picking the Dolphins.
Okay, he's picking the Dolphins. Big kudos to the Dolphins fan out there. We're going with the Dolphins. So, do we take Tua?
Ooh,
To that
man.
fan, who's that fan's name? Who's that fan's name? Who's
That's
talking to us?
that's
Do we
that's
take
Mr.
Tua?
McClure over
Ask
there,
him,
buddy.
McClure, Mr. McClure. Do we take Tua? Do we take Tua? Do you think Tua's got enough to beat Lamar Jackson in Baltimore? Where are we playing
Ooh,
in Miami,
man. Now we're playing in
Baltimore?
Baltimore, man.
We're in Baltimore.
It's gonna be
Weather
sketchy.
at this time of year is not going to be, privy to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle on the deep. But
That's very true.
we have Achan.
We do. We
We
do.
got we got Mozart,
Yeah, Barrios is coming out. Cedric Wilson starting to work out.
Cedric
They're starting
Wilson
to make
starting to
some.
come back.
Starting to
Man,
make big
but you
plays.
got Baltimore on the other side. You got Gus Edwards. You got
We
Lamar
do.
Jackson. He can always pull and tuck and run that ball. Man,
It's gonna be
this
interesting,
could be
man.
a hairy one.
We'll have to talk about this Thursday night. We'll have to go into depth on who we're
Ma-
choosing on our fantasy football
Hey,
league, man.
we're gonna have to put this one on the back burner, kick this
We're gonna
one
have to do his
around
little
all the way
PITA
until
thing, man.
game
You know what I
time.
mean?
PITA, catch us Thursday night at 7:30, and we'll pick up that conversation about Tua
Or
and
Lamar.
Lamar Jackson.
So we talked our football. We talked all
Okay.
this. We got to talk some basketball, man. It happened on Christmas Day. We missed some Christmas Day basketball. Obviously, we usually do our Monday night podcast. We didn't get to
Yep.
do that, so now we got
No.
to talk about our Christmas Day,
Here we are,
basketball, man.
Tuesday night. Yeah, it's the game after. We had to talk about Kansas City, getting
Of
beat
course, of
by the
course.
LA Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, not LA, LV
Pretty much,
Raiders.
they got beat in 7 seconds. Let's be honest.
Yeah, pretty
It was
much in
pretty much they got
seven
beat in 7
seconds. There you
seconds.
go. There you go. Pretty much in 7 seconds. But we had a lot going on in basketball too. We had the Boston Celtics in LA.
Yeah,
We had
another
Milwaukee
another crazy game.
and New York. Yeah, another
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
game. But
Listen, I just want to point this out. Jamie Jaquez of the Miami Heat, the fifth rookie ever to score 30 points and 10 rebounds on Christmas Day. Just wanted to point that out. Do you know some of the others? I know we talked about it, but I don't know if you ever looked it up. Did you ever look it up?
Look it up. What?
The other 4 players that did it.
What was
30 points, 10 rebounds as a rookie on Christmas Day. Come on, give me some answers, man. I got to hear it.
30 points, 10 rebounds as a rookie on
As a
Christmas
rookie on Christmas
Day?
Day. You guessed LeBron, which obviously was wrong, so.
Yeah, I would say LeBron first of all. I would say Kobe second of all. I would
No,
say
no,
Tim Duncan third of all. I
no,
would say Charles Barkley. I
no,
would say um as far as rookies go, Larry Bird
no. Sorry. You're not. You're kind of in the right area at least, though.
and Bill Walton
No.
or Bill Russell.
Let's call a New York Knicks player. Let's go with Patrick Ewing, sir.
I
Was
was
one
going to
of
say
them.
that one too.
Wilt
Okay.
Chamberlain as number 2. Oscar Robertson as number 3.
Jesus.
And now number 4, I don't remember. Crap.
Are you
I don't
going
remember
way
number 4.
back though?
I'm
That's
telling you, man.
way
That's
back.
how rare this is, man. It's a huge feat. You got to give him some credit. This
What?
kid went off for 30 and 10 as a rookie, man. Give him some respect.
Well, that's sort of like scoring 50 points on Christmas Day. There's only 6 people who's ever done it in the NBA. That's
Exactly.
pretty impressive. I mean, I was like, I didn't know that. That's kind of pretty cool. But Jaquez for Miami, I had him on my fantasy lineup for Christmas Day, and I did win me a couple dollars.
Oh, Walt Bellamy was the other one.
Yeah, how was you ever going to remember that?
That's why I didn't remember it.
You would have never remembered that.
No. But listen, man, there were some big games. Dallas beats the Suns. Here's my question about the Suns. You're the basketball guy. On a scale of 1 to 10, how worried are you about the Phoenix Suns? They're 14 and 15, man.
Right now I'd be putting up my red flag or white flag
Uh-oh.
or
Red
I
flag?
wouldn't
Red
be
flag?
waving. I would no, yeah, I'd be putting that out there and asking for help from somebody somewhere
Okay.
somehow in some type of way because it's not good. First of all, you got Bradley Bill. You got him back for one game. It was a partial game, whatever. He got injured again. He's out again. He re-aggravated his back again. It's not a good deal. I don't expect to see Bill back. Now you got Booker, KD, and Joe or Jerkage down there in the post. This is not enough because the problem is Eric Gordon's complaining about shooting time, playing time, this and that. You've got nothing. Everything's in disarray right now at this point in the season. That's a bad deal. That's a
So give me the
very,
number, man. 1
very,
to 10.
that's right now
How
my
worried?
number 1 to 10. My 1 to 10 going as far as worried right now. I'm worried about 7.5, almost 8
Ooh, you're going up there
about the
high,
Phoenix
man.
Sun. I'm going up there
Ooh.
very, very high, only because they got a couple of young teams ready to bump them out of that playoff spot and move on in the NBA. And you know what? They can't hang around and wait on the Phoenix Sun and Kevin Durant to figure out what they got going on.
No, I agree with it, man. I agree with it. I like it. You're right though. Bradley Beal's injuries is kind of crazy on what's going on.
It's a bad deal. It's a bad, bad deal. It's a very bad deal. You got Okogie. Yeah, he's got more injury problems going on. He can't even get on the court. You got Eric Gordon. He's frustrated with the people saying he's ill and maybe his back hurts now and it's all because of the relationship. Everything's bad right now in Phoenix, and I don't want no part of it.
No, I mean to be fair, they did lose to a guy who went 50 points and 15 assists. The guy went off. I mean, he went 8 for 16 from the 3-point line. Luka is a beast, man. He went off that game,
He
so you
is.
got to give him a little bit of credit where that is. But the Phoenix Suns just looking disarray, and I agree with that 100%.
You know, Luca's a whole different animal, and that brings me to my next point right now. You know, everybody calls. How far has Luca been in the playoffs? Do you know?
uh, First round, that's it, right?
Huh?
First round, that's
Exactly.
it. Yeah,
How far has Joel Embiid been in the first round
yeah. I
or
mean, now he went to the
in
second
the
round, didn't he?
playoffs?
He went to the
He
second
went
round,
to the
didn't
second round. I That's what I meant to say. How
he? Yeah.
far has he been in the playoff? The second round. My point is, they don't get this clout because Joel Embiid got the MVP last year, but he's not going to get the rap for the best player ever because he can't get past the second round. That's the part
Yeah.
problem with Luca, and that's my point of bringing that up. Is because Luca's getting trapped in these teams that won't. Now, here's my deal. Here's my deal. Luca,
Okay.
if he gets Kyrie Irving healthy, now he's
And
got a
going.
rookie on his team, and Derek Lively. This kid right here is an absolute, or is it Eric Lively? I don't care. He's an
Derek.
absolute
Derek.
phenomenon. Derek Lively.
Mm-hmm.
He's an absolute phenomenon. He can stay healthy. That's the problem. That's the problem. That's his best shot right there. Is that center Lively, that rookie center that they drafted? That's his best shot at getting a championship. Other than that, Luke is going to go down to almost like a Brandon Roy.
Okay. Okay.
You know what I mean?
I
It's
mean,
a
he
sad
may
deal.
leave. He may leave Dallas too, so we don't know what happens, later on. But I want to give you a point for that analogy, man. I kind of like that analogy. That's my point.
Oh, thank you for that. Thank you for that. And you know what? And I'm going to harp on that a little bit more. And I'm going to say Brandon Roy because Brandon Roy's injuries. Luca doesn't have that problem. Luca's going to have a teammate issue. He's going to have a teammate
Yeah.
issue. And the only reason why I say that, Marshentime, is because everybody knows Mark Cuban sold that organization. It's no longer Mark Cuban, organizing what's going on in there. Even though he is directing, he's supposed to be having ownership of what's going on and coaching the director of NBA operations. If that ownership says, I was about to say a real bad word, but if they say, screw you, we're not signing this guy because he's not worth that money in our eyes. And that's their money. He can't
Yeah.
do nothing about it.
That is true.
That's
That is true.
that's my problem with that. That's my problem.
All right. So we talked Dallas. We talked Phoenix. Let's talk about one of the other games here. Well, we talked about Miami and Philadelphia a little bit. Miami came out and beat Philadelphia, though, pretty handily, 113-113. Do you see
And
anything to
rightfully,
add to
they
that?
should have. Yeah, no, there's nothing to that. Joel Embiid, the last year's MVP, was not in that game. That's why that happened. Just like that,
Hmm?
still too close. And you know what? Tyrese Maxey had his worst game of the season in that game, Martian time.
But was there
Miami
a
better
reason
check
for that, maybe?
themselves. Yeah, they better check themselves.
I mean, I'm just saying, man, the Heat's defense is one of the best always. So,
All I'm saying, if Joel Embiid is there, that's
but
a
you got to think
different
about
story.
this. They didn't have Jimmy Butler.
Well, maybe not, maybe not. But just
Two best
two
players,
game.
man.
No, listen to this. Listen to this. 2 games prior to that, Joel Embiid went into a game against the league's #1 rated defense. Okay,
They did. They
that was
did.
at center, that was at power forward, and that was at small forward too. All three rated #1 in the NBA. Guess what Joel Embiid did? He did a record-breaking 51 points against that team
Listen, man.
or anything. Joel
Okay,
Embiid
but he
is a
got Rudy
different player.
Gobert. He got Rudy Gobert in foul trouble in like the first quarter, man. He
Doesn't
had three
matter.
fouls in the
Doesn't
first
matter.
quarter.
Because that's the player he is. That's not because of his strategy.
Listen,
That's because
man.
the player he is and how big he is. Look at LeBron James. That's one thing that he would do as a great
Hey, man.
player.
I'm
If you're
just
a
pointing
great
this
player,
out.
that's what you would do.
Miami seems
You're
to
not
always
pointing that
find.
out.
Miami
I
seems
pointed
to
that
find
out
ways
in
to
2
win, man.
podcasts ago,
I just
okay?
want to point this
I
out.
pointed that out.
Miami finds ways to win. I'm just saying.
No, I'm not saying that. Miami is finally getting some people healthy. Okay,
Yeah,
Tyler
seriously.
Hero. Tyler Hero really loosens up a lot of defensive lanes,
100%.
okay? Because Tyler Hero, he's averaging, when he's on the court, 16 points a game. That's a huge deal, dude.
Yeah.
That's a big, big, big deal when you can get a guard like that. But he hasn't been there all season. When you get Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero on the floor,
And Bam and
100%
Holiday. Come on,
healthy,
man. That's pretty strong.
and Bam 100% healthy with the Kevin Love coming off the bench, then you could talk to me about playoffs. Other than that, don't start talking to me about playoffs when you don't
Ooh.
have the health that they
Listen,
have.
man, they're 18 and 12. They're on their way to the playoffs. It seems like so.
18 and 12 doesn't, yeah, well, yeah, that doesn't really be
Listen,
a 22 and fucking 9. You know what I mean?
they're 20 and 9. Let's get this right here, sir. If you're gonna throw out stats, you better be right on them, sir, because I got them right here. So don't be giving me
20
no
and
crap.
9.
Don't be giving me no
20
crap
and
here,
9.
sir.
Okay.
You lose a point for that. You lose a point, sir. You give me
Hey,
false
you can't
info.
take no
You're
point.
giving me
Hey,
false info. No false
even though
info,
you got
sir.
the controller, you cannot take points. You tell me
I just took it
three,
away.
4 or 5 times you told me I can't take no points from you, but you got the controller and you can take points. That is
Yeah.
bullshit. I will hit the button right now. You take that shit and you add 3 more to it.
All right, hang on. I'll add three more. Oh man. Oh wait. Hang on. Oh man. Oh. All right. I'll add you three more. There you go. You got three again. Oh man. Hey man. All right. We talked about Miami. We got to talk about the greatest rivalry, Boston, Los Angeles. Boston came in there, pretty much looked like Boston has all year long.
Yeah, because Boston is the number 1 team in the NBA, and they solidified it that reason when they marched into LA, and they did exactly what they did. I took LA to win this game, Marshentime. You and
We
I
did.
both know that
We did what we both
because
did.
you know what? AD did exactly what we thought he was going to do. LeBron did exactly what he was going to do. But what we didn't solidify and count on is the defense that Boston was going to carry throughout the entire game. They did not, LA did a very good job up front at the first part of this game and playing their defense. But at the latter half of that, it was just trying to keep up and score points. That's all it was. Boston with Drew Holiday, White, and Tatum. Tatum didn't actually do whole lot, but he
I mean,
did play
25
defense in
points.
this
That's
game.
not bad.
Wait, I was talking about defensive side of the spectrum.
Oh,
That's
okay.
exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. Nobody scored points except for the big 3 on LA's side of the
True.
on the
True.
ball,
Very true.
and then they played defense and shut everybody else down. D'Lo, he did nothing. D'Angelo, Austin Reeves, he did not a whole lot of nothing in that game. But LeBron James and Anthony Davis actually did their deal.
Yeah, I mean, their whole team though. Cam Reddish only got 5 points. Jared Vanderbilt only got 6 points. So
Yeah,
these are the starters,
yeah, yeah.
And it's kind of but Kristaps Porzingis, man, had 28 points, went for 11 to 19 shooting.
That was a statement.
That's pretty good,
That was a
man.
statement. That was a statement right there against one of the league's premier power forwards in
100%.
Anthony Davis. And I'll call him a power forward, not a center. I think he's a true power forward. He could be considered a center in a lot of teams in the NBA,
Yeah.
but he is a premier guy down there. He's a KT, a cat, Car Anthony Town. Porzingis took that to him, elbow to elbow, chest to chest. He took it to him in that game. You know what? AD responded. He did his own deal, but Anthony did a lot more than just that. Go toe to toe with AD. He played team ball. That's what Boston is
Yeah.
about right now at this time of the year. They're about team ball. They know that they got White out there shooting at the high pace of
Yeah.
what
Well.
49% from 3-point range right now
Mm-hmm.
at this time of year. You got Jason Tatum, who's the league's best power or small forward, coming at you. Not only Drew Holiday at the point. I mean, these guys, they're playing team ball, and that's what we're used to seeing from Boston Celtics at this time of year is team ball. They're back to team ball. I'm excited about team ball because Boston can really do a lot of damage in the Eastern Conference right now, and that's what they were all. Porzingis got off, it didn't matter because what you see in that stat column is 6 or plus assists from Christoph Porzingis is going
Yeah.
to the other team. It doesn't matter. They will play team ball. They will get off. They will do their deal. All five guys in those rotations can play defense. That's the big factor with the Boston Celtics right now. That's why they're the best team in the NBA.
Okay, I like it. I like it, man. Hey, I respect it. They're a great team. I'll give them that, and I'm ready to see them go on. The only thing I'm waiting for is they always get into the playoffs as a high seed.
Yep.
Can they win a 7-game series?
Yep.
I don't know, man. Their team just seems to give out in big games. It's weird, but their whole team always just gives out. So
You
I'm
know,
I'm still hesitant on them.
when you say that, I think about that game we saw with Joel Embiid, the Philadelphia 76ers against the league's number one defense in the NBA, Minnesota Timberwolves. Joel Embiid dominated them. He
Hmm.
absolutely single-handedly dominated that team. Is he that good, or is that team not that good defensively? That's my Minnesota, Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert, call it Anthony Towns. You're talking about Mike Conley. Is that really that good defensively, or Joel Embiid that good? Marshentime. These are
We
things
still
right
got a
now.
long way to find out.
We got a long way to find out. These are things that need to be tossed around. We can't wait to see them kicked around. We're going to see it a little bit tonight.
Yeah,
But as
100%.
far as the NBA goes right now, it's still. I don't like LA. I don't like Golden State.
And I definitely do not like the Detroit Pistons. I'm sorry.
I do like them for the first win tonight,
They're
though,
losing.
against
They're losing.
Brooklyn.
I'm just saying, man. They're
They are.
losing, but
It's only the second quarter, bro. It's only the second
uh,
quarter.
I think they're in the third quarter, bud. But
Are they in the third?
I'll let you feel how you want. But
That's okay.
it's okay.
That's okay. That's okay.
Anything else you want to talk about before we sign her off, Donnie Mac?
As far as tonight goes, no, you know what, Marshentime, I hope everything, went good for the holidays as far as our listeners and viewers go. I hope they had a good holiday. I hope they enjoyed the sports that we
Except if
talked
you're a
about.
Dallas Cowboy fan, we got you.
We feel sorry for you, and we'll see you in the playoffs in the same mood.
I don't feel sorry for you. I'm gonna be honest. Sign us off, Donnie Mac.
Until next time, guys, catch us here Thursday night at 7:30. That over there with the big head, that's Marshentime. Me here with the pretty face. That's Donnie Mac. This is A63 Sports Buzz Podcast. Thanks for joining us here.